Let's have a closer look at what teams brought to this weekend's Suzuka Grand Prix. There are some interesting details to talk about. At Red Bull, we got some more interesting views of their car. We see the so-called suspension outlet that is pointing directly at the beam wing, and we see that Red Bull is using a super small stay for the outside floor edge. Other teams use longer stays in this area that directly connect to the center of the car. Red Bull's solution has less aerodynamic impact and less weight. Increasing the stiffness of the floor is important because teams want to avoid the floor edge from touching the ground. That would seal the sides too good and create suction peaks that then lead to bouncing. If you have small side pods and hence large exposed floor area like Mercedes, the only solution to avoid the floor edge from touching the ground is to increase the car's ride height, which then increases drag and reduces downforce significantly. Also nice to see here that even the stopper is made from carbon fiber. And also we can see some dirt marks on the suction side of the main plane that show a very healthy rear wing flow. At Mercedes we can see their DRS mechanism, which is now a rocker design. If you're interested in the different DRS designs, check out my other video below. You can see the hydraulic line and the connector to pump the gas spring at the front. Mercedes packages 3 additional radiators flat on top of the gearbox. McLaren gives us a good look of the Mercedes engine package. We can see a large air-to-air intercooler below and a water radiator above with the pipes running along the side. In previous years, where you wanted to have a super tight side pod, that would have been a disadvantage because the water pipe is in the way to make the side pod slimmer. Today, teams want large side pods to stabilize the floor and to keep the front rear wake outboard, so this water pipe is not a problem anymore. Also, you can see the 3 piggybacked radiators on top of the engine. The McLaren turned very dark in order to save paint and hence weight, and is using a long stay to stabilize the floor. Ferrari brought some changes to their floor and uses a shorter stay now too. Alpine shows us their massive undercut and data connector at the side. The little winglets create vortices to avoid the cockpit losses from spilling outside. Also, Alpine is using a large stay, and we can see how the flow is directed to the lower center of the car. While other teams try to cover their DRS mechanism with the DRS pod, Alpine traditionally does a much slimmer torpedo design and accepts parts from sticking out. AlphaTauri is trying 2 different downforce levels for their rear wing, while Haas brings their well-known high downforce wing to the track. At Aston Martin we can see the brake caliper design with grooves to increase surface area for better cooling and cutouts to vent the brake disc air. Williams is another team to use a long stay to stabilize the floor, and also this car turned pretty dark to save weight. And at Alfa Romeo we can see the heave spring, which is controlling the ride height when both wheels go up simultaneously, or in other words, when the car is pushed down, for example because it generates downforce. And that is a very interesting topic we should quickly talk about. With the previous regulations where the cars had a flat underbody, the car's rake angle was an important factor because it turned the whole flat plate into a diffuser. Downside was the sealing of the high-sitting floor at the back, which only Red Bull mastered to control. So if I set the car up with a certain angle for wings and underbody and then angle the whole car, I get more downforce. But I can also do it the other way around. I can lower the car at the back and the angle of attack for all components reduces, which creates less downforce and hence less drag. So if I design a heave spring at the back that allows the car to lower the rear when certain downforce is created, I reduce the drag of the car significantly. In fast corners I want positive rake angle to have more downforce, on the straights I want low drag. So it's ideal to link the system with the roll spring and or steering angle. So if there's no roll or steering angle and no brake, I lower the back and have less drag on the straight. A system that Mercedes was using last year and Red Bull is doing this year. They can also do that because they suffered less from bouncing than other teams. So I hope you liked this little insight and see you at the next video.